Okay, so it's April, it's Easter Sunday, and we're a quarter of the way into the year. So why don't we check in on how I'm doing on my 2020 goals? Hey, what's up? I'm Ken. This is kenfuTV, and you're watching Ken Learns Kenfu. So each week I do videos on the martial arts, philosophy, training, technique, that sort of thing. And in Ken Learns Kenfu, we focus on my reflections as I continue to train, continue to work with my instructors, continue to meet new people, read new books, and uncover more things, basically marinate in the martial arts. So if you're new here, be sure to subscribe if you like videos like this, and if you like this one, be sure to hit that like button. That helps the channel out. But today I'm doing something different. So not in my typical setup. Studio's actually just over here, but instead I'm in front of my computer. So at the end of the year, I recorded a video on my 2020 goals, what I plan on doing for 2020 in the different areas of my martial arts, and just kind of in general. And so I just wanted to kind of go through that. Today, I haven't actually seen that video since that day. So today we're going to watch it, and I'm going to just fill you in on the things as they come up in the video and kind of let you know where I'm at with all those things. So let me throw on some headphones and we'll get started. Okay, so let's go grab this video. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so we've made it to the end of the year. This is the last video of 2019. And I thought I would shoot a video talking about what I think 2020 is going to look like for me. Man, that beard was looking kind of wild, a little crazy. Hey, what's up? I'm Ken. This is kenfuTV, and let's go ahead and jump ahead past the intro into the video. Otherwise, let's get to talking about 2020 and what this next year looks like. I've never been a huge fan of resolutions. Still, I'm not really. Just never really been my thing. So instead, I just like to set some goals. Here are some things that I plan on doing, period. You know, it's like the difference between making a lifestyle change and a diet. Man, I did a lot more. A diet is something you do heavy music. Like my music levels were way too high when I first started these, so hopefully that's gotten better. Weight or my appearance, and then I plan on immediately scrapping that as soon as that worked, because that's how diets tend to go, right? Making a change in your lifestyle is different though. And so for my training, one of the things I wanted to look at is just targeting some specific things that I just want to work on. So just dial in some focus so that as I go into this next year, I'm not scattershot. I've got specific things that I want to try to continue to focus on. And as that little did I know how this year was going to go. Happens, it makes it easier for me to just take a look back and say, am I on track? Am I sticking with that? Am I heading the direction I intended to head? We're about to find out, aren't we? Project, one of the things that I can do is I can come back to this later and just have some updates and go, okay, accountable to the internet. Here's what it looks like. Here's what's happened. Yeah, you guys are going to keep me up to this. I really train primarily in 3 areas, right? Okinawan Karate, Kali Eskrima, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So we'll just talk about those 3. So let's start with Okinawan Karate. One of the first advanced katas I ever learned was Chinte. It was a kata that one of my senior students at that time, later to be kind of my sensei, personal sensei. You know, I had the main sensei who continues to be a huge influence for me. He's my main instructor. But you know, you develop that personal relationship with other students in the class, and so he was a black belt that kind of took me under his wing and continued to work on stuff together, and we kind of traveled this journey together for a long time. Still love that guy. Cool. He moved away, haven't got to spend as much time with him, but it's kind of a funny story. In our school, one of the first katas that you develop for black belt is Basai-dai. Very, very well known Okinawan kata. Every system has a version of it. It was actually like the 4th one that I learned because I had been training with the sensei, and had just, what would happen is I'd stay after class and he would work on his things, and I would just quietly work with him for the most part. You know, occasionally he'd have me work some bunkai with him or something like that. But for the most part, he'd be working his katas, and I would just tuck into the background and work them with him and just do my best to kind of keep up and go. And so one of the first ones I ever learned was Chinte, translated to mean China hand, right? So the China hand kata. Now it's actually been a number of years since I've really spent time on that kata. So I thought that what I would do this year is I'd just spend the entire year focusing on it. I'll continue to work all the other stuff that I do, but just have one thing that is where my delivery system is headed towards, where my focus is, where my training goes. So it's important to allow kata to inform your training, give you some perspective. And so for me, the perspective this year will be coming from Chinte. I'm gonna splice in some footage of me performing the kata as I do it now, which is really rough and everything because I haven't done it in some time. And so this gives me a good, can't wait to shoot some video to kind of see how this looks December of as I kind of continue forward. And then as I continue to work and continue to develop,
can't wait to get back into that dojo too. Haven't been in there in weeks.
and
Been training at home,
system into
as
my
I'm sure
body.
the rest of you are as well.
Looks like a year from now. So you'll see there's different pieces of it, and it may look similar to a way that you've done it. It may look completely foreign, and everybody's different katas kind of look different. But that's the plan, that's the path, that's where I'm headed. So over time, I'll kind of check in and kind of show, here's where I'm at right now, or here's some things. And that may even inform some of the videos that I'm working on, because it'll be something that's on my mind.
Need to tighten that up for sure.
I've really decided.
Okay, so let's stop and go on that. So I've continued to work on Jinte. The way the world has gone, things have obviously gotten a little different with COVID-19, all the self-quarantine and isolation and all that kind of stuff. Really have not done it as much as I like. And I know you're probably thinking, well, but you're home now. That's what you get to do all the time. You can spend all your time doing that. But I'm still working. What I do is still, we don't have a shelter-in-place order or anything like that. My job is continuing to be an essential job that needs to be done. So my days go to that. And in order to keep our classes running, we've switched to online training. I'll link in one of these corners how we're doing that as far as software and that kind of stuff goes, as far as how we're managing online training with our students. But so that has taken up a lot of time. I spend most of my time working on that. I'm sure a lot of you instructors can relate. You spend a lot more time on the things that your students need and a lot less time on what you need to work on. So, yeah, I'm sure just in the fact that I've been focusing on any training and continuing focus on my movement and my body, that I can perform this kata a little bit better now than I did before. But I really haven't been able to spend as much time as I like on it. When we were still in the dojo, I did. I'd do it at least a couple times a day. And so that was really, really great. But that's fallen off now. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. Hopefully, as things kind of settle down in relation to COVID, and maybe we end up back in the dojo at some time, or even just as I get more accustomed to doing this online training and start to get my schedule back under control, I could start working in doing this kata and stuff more. But for now, my focus is on making sure that my students still have what they need to keep their training going, because all training is good training. So the training that I'm getting now, more than good. I just hope to get back to working on Jinte and that sort of thing soon. Okay, so let's jump back into this. I think Eskrima was next.
Decided that the main focus that I want to have this year is going to be range, distance, and posture. I have a tendency to work a lot
talk about
closer
something
than I want
different.
to.
Working in
Systems more of a largo
smaller spaces, homes,
further
things
away,
like that.
I have a tendency to work a lot closer.
It's certainly
can
changing.
Move back out to largo, but not as well as I'd like to. And so I want to really focus on that particular methodology.
I've continued to do that. I've continued to try to focus on the largo mono. That has certainly become more difficult working in smaller spaces because it was designed for keeping at long range. And so my natural tendencies to work in the tighter, closer range have come right back as I move into a smaller space where it's more necessary. That said, still working on it, still continuing to do that. It's an important part of the curriculum, so I continue to focus on it. It has to be there. We've got to keep doing it. And so some of the drills and stuff we've been doing, I've been focusing on that, and that has helped. I don't know if I have any good footage of that. If I do, I'll try to splice them into this video.
With that comes, with that distance and that range comes my posture.
Posture's
lean
huge.
A little bit, very straight back, so the posture is good.
I feel like my posture's gotten a lot better.
More lean.
I've definitely been focusing on that, just in general, in all of the arts.
So we'll see. And then with the jiu-jitsu, mostly just mobility. I really, really want to focus on mobility. Moving smoothly, that's the area that I feel needs the most.
I tell you what, this is definitely an area that continues to be a struggle, especially working in the room that I train my jiu-jitsu in is a lot smaller, so I can't move it quite as freely. I've had my instructor over a number of times to do some private lessons, and we've been able to train, but we stop and reset because of the size of the room. So working on that fluid mobility is hard when you're worried about breaking things in the room. And in general, as I continue to work through, I also need to drink more water. Being home a lot, I've not been as good about that, which is funny because I have a tap just right there to refill all the time, but I just have not. I get kind of, hours just kind of drift by, and pretty soon it's the end of the day, and I haven't, I'm working from home, so I haven't really left my desk or whatever. It's, I can definitely tell a difference in my hydration because my body is stiffer, that sort of thing. So I've got water right here ready to go. In fact, got to do more of that. Got to just keep it near me and keep it in. I get a fair bit in every day, but I could definitely get in more.
Most growth, it's the area that I feel is the most important. Just being able to move from thing to thing fluidly and just be able to move my body fluidly. Develop mobility.
It is the most important. I really believe that.
Develop flexibility. All those things I'd like to continue to work on. So hopefully I'll see an improvement in that area too. Right?
I'm feeling
core
kind of
fundamental stuff.
A set back in my flexibility lately.
So what about you? What are you training on this year? What is your
what are your
goals?
goals?
What are the things that you
hit those comments. Not too many of you threw too many comments in the last video, so throw some in this video.
Pick a focus, dial it in, and work on it. See where it takes you. See what happens when you really
and how are they
dial
going
in on a particular thing and just chase it. It's really powerful. That's it for today. Look forward to doing way more of these in this upcoming year. Gonna keep doing them every Monday. Gonna keep throwing out the Ken Shares Kenfu stuff with technique and that kind of stuff. Really want to try to build up on the brewing Budo side of things. Time has been the challenge there.
Yep.
Really hope
still
to get
hasn't
that
gotten much better
this year. And in the meantime, like this video, subscribe to the channel, do all that kind of stuff.
All right. So yeah, so brewing Budo really hasn't. In fact, even behind me, I have an entire setup for a 4-person setup for the podcast, and I have a couple different podcasts. I have a different one where I want to call into my instructors and have conversations and that sort of thing with some of my students there as well. And just certainly all these changes have not gone the direction that I thought they were going to. So I literally got set up to manage these podcasts and stuff right as we were getting and same thing for our mats. We got a bunch of mats in for jiu-jitsu. So jiu-jitsu mats, podcast stuff, and then stay at home, self-isolation, quarantine, COVID-19 has really put a pinch on that. So brewing Budo certainly has not gotten where I want it to get to. Really haven't really recorded another episode since, because we're not supposed to be around each other. And yeah, we could do the call-in stuff, but I really just haven't done it because I like having it in person. I just like having it in person. I mean, so my goal with that, and maybe I'm just being picky about it, my goal with the podcast is to be able to actually sit down with people and talk in person. So, but I don't know how the levels were on this, so hopefully it wasn't too jumbled when I was talking in the video and talking on the mic as well. But do leave your comments on what your goals were for 2020, how they have been going, because again, we're into April now. One of my goals that I started just shortly after doing that video was to do 50 burpees a day for 100 days. It was a challenge by the Jiu-Jitsu Ronin on like Instagram, YouTube. You definitely have to check out his stuff. Really good when it comes to solo drills, things like that. Now's the perfect time to be focusing on some of the solo drills that he puts out. Really, really good stuff. But so today, Easter Sunday, just lost my light. I've been talking too long, sitting here too long. But today I finished my last set of 50. So I've done 5,000 burpees in the last 100 days. Consistently, I did not let myself slack. I changed sometimes during the day. I originally was really good about getting up in the morning and doing them first thing, especially as this stuff has changed where I'm staying home, that kind of thing. I do them more towards the end of the day. I'll be kind of ingesting knowledge, watching videos, doing stuff like that while I'm on the mat and just getting my burpees out before the end of the day. Or I'll mix them in here and there, but one way or another, all the way through this year, for this last 100 days, I've made sure to get my burpees in every day and have done 5,000 of them. More than that, really, because especially when we were doing jiu-jitsu classes and stuff like that, I was doing them in class. I was showing people how to do them. I've done tons and tons and tons of them. I really actually like them as a drill and an exercise, so definitely do some of that. I guess that's it. So that's today's video. One of my goals should be figuring out how to breathe when recording video. I have a tendency to keep breathing in, but letting a little bit of air out while I talk. And pretty soon, I just have to go. So if you've seen kind of how my videos jump cut and that kind of thing, half the time I'm just cutting out deep breaths that I take so that you don't have to listen to me go. It's awkward. It's awful. But I don't know how these guys do it. These voiceover actors and stuff like that who speak into a mic all the time. I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact that I don't actually like being in front of camera that keeps us that little level of stress and anxiety that just keeps it hard for me to maintain good breath control while I do it. I'm just super, super self-conscious about it. And I ended up holding my breath. I ended up kind of almost winded doing these videos. It's crazy. So there you go. Secret behind the scenes info for those of you who actually made it to the end of this video. For you, and I see the analytics. Most people, they make it a couple minutes. Our attention spans just in general have gone way down. Maybe I'm just super boring. But the average video, 10, 15 minutes long. The average watch time, 3 minutes. So if you made it to the end of this video, if you're hearing this part, super impressed and super thankful. I really appreciate you. You probably are somebody who has subscribed and does like these videos. But if you haven't, do so now. Hit the like button. Do it. I'll wait. Nicely done. And make sure to subscribe. Hit that bell. Turn on all notifications. You got to kind of hit that, because when I release other videos, and I've got a collaboration with Chris Hansen coming up here soon, and a couple other things that I'm working on that are going to be coming out, but those don't release. The only one that I release on a regular schedule is Ken Learns Kenfu, which is every Monday. Otherwise, the videos release separately and sporadically, so you want to make sure those notifications are on to know when they come out, because otherwise you're going to miss them. And truly, based on the stats, they're the ones that everybody really likes. So I don't know. In the meantime, that's it for me. Hope you like this. This is kind of a different setup, so definitely leave some comments about how this was and how it sounded, how it looked, how it played out, whatever. I don't know. Just leave me some comments. Let's talk. Introduce yourself. Tell me who you are and what you're up to, because we're all stuck at home, so I've got nothing better to do, right? That's not true. Final Fantasy VII Remake is out, and I'm a huge fan, so I'm going to go play that. And I'm going to catch you in the next one. And got to watch over this mic, so